a new band of rebels arose who were determined to carry the fight to Jerusalem.
The Sicarii.
To the Sicarii, anyone who wasn't fighting the Romans was a collaborator and worthy of death.
Many were slain every day, and the fear men were in was worse than the calamity itself.
That's the 1/3 that the Lord is predestined to be straight, that the Lord is made upright, man. You understand what I'm saying? Give me 9 and give me 10.
Amos chapter 9, verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
So the sinners of the nation of Israel, the sinners of the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man is going to die by the sword because they are crooked and they are part of the 2/3. That's what the 2/3 are, the sinners of Israel. The ones that don't care about the law, the commandments, and Yahweh, the ones that don't want to do right. Those are the ones that are going to die by the sword. Those are the ones that are going to be hit by thermonuclear goddamn fire. Okay? The crooked ones of our people. But all of our people ain't crooked, and we're the only nation as a whole and in general that is made upright. No other nation is made upright. As we read in Romans 11 to 16, our first fruits were holy. None of the other nations' first fruits was holy. Right? So their lump is not holy. They got a wicked goddamn lump. They just a wicked group of bastards who are fit to be nothing but our slaves and tributaries. Okay? In the kingdom of heaven.
Book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 1. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and a vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the earth strove upon the great sea. And the 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse ones from another.
So Daniel had the vision of 4 beasts, right? And they were all diverse from one another. Read.
The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings.
The lion with eagle's wings, which is the griffin, a mythical beast known as the griffin, which is indicative of the Assyrian/Babylonian Empire. Because there was a point in period of time where they were ruling synonymously together. Okay? So when they talk about the lion with the eagle's wing, that's talking about the griffin, which is a symbol of the Assyrian Babylonian Empire. The Assyrians had it on all 4, and the Babylonians symbolized it standing upright. Okay? Which is the lion with the wings. Right away.
It says, I beheld till the wings were therefore plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
So it stood up, man. You're talking about when the Babylonians were ruling. Read.
Verse 5, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
All right, the second like unto a bear. This is the next beast or the next kingdom or empire that gained rulership. You know, supreme dominion in the earth. Right, Read?
It says, and it raised up itself.
And it raised itself up, man, out of nowhere. This kingdom came out of nowhere to come up against the lion kingdom, right?
What you guys got going on?
Man, we talking about the downfall of the so-called white man. That's what we got going on.
That's right.
White people have been pretty bad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm a white guy, but my ancestors have been pretty bad.
Give us a little space, please.
Yeah.
Now, you're a white person of what country is your people come from?
All over Europe.
All over Europe?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as you know, the so-called white race has been wreaking havoc throughout the entire planet Earth.
Still are.
So, yeah, still are. So the whole thing is this, right? So, I mean, when you look at this whole concept of karma, you know that eventually something has to be done, right? And it's been a lot of shit the white race has got away with. So when something gets done, it's gonna be bad. And that's what that's not our whole agenda and our whole message, but that's part of the message. And the scripture speaks about the white race and their judgment for all this wickedness that they brought throughout the earth. Okay? You ever heard of the characters of Jacob and Esau in the Bible?
I didn't grow up religious, so I don't know much about the Bible.
Okay, well that's okay. In the scriptures, basically the Bible is a lot of things happen in the Bible, but there's a whole theme throughout the whole Bible. You have the story of two twin brothers, fraternal twin brothers. They looked totally different. One came out in Algodoy, right? Which is the progenitor of the so-called white race known as Esau in the Bible. Then you have one that his name is Jacob, which he was a color which most people of the earth are a color today, right? So Jacob and Esau, Jacob ended up progenerating the black, Hispanic, Native American. Esau progenerated, the so-called European Caucasians, right? And from the moment that we were conceived in our mother's womb, we have been at war with each other. Okay? And we are at war with each other to this day. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen the movie Planet of the Apes?
It's been like 10 now. Which one?
Well, I mean, the original one, the whole theme is over in the Planet of the Apes, there's a theme.
Yeah.
Really, right? And they say it's apes, but when you take a step back and analyze the movie, it's about black people conquering the world. That's really what it's about. Yeah, they put us as apes or whatever, but that's really what it's about. How the so-called white man, because all the problems that they say there is with mankind are problems that it is with white people. Shit, that's the type of shit that other people wasn't doing before the white man started doing it. So what it's about is there's going to be a time. I can't tell you the exact date, but logic itself will tell you that soon enough the so-called white race will fall down. Now in the Planet of the Apes, right, you got Charles Heston, the original one. I just watched it 2 nights ago. Charles Heston, right? What happened?
I gotta see that one.
Because he escapes, right? He escapes from the apes, right? And they have a land called I forget what it's like the land you don't go through, right?
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's on another planet the whole time. He's riding a horse and he sees the goddamn Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, they did it. He's like, you did it. You blew us up. Really what it's talking about is how a nuclear war led to the fall of mankind and the uprising of the apes. You see what I'm saying? And the whole point is now we're on the cusp of a nuclear world war.
So, what do you guys think? What's the solution to it all?
Hey, the only solution.
Because that's the important thing, is the solution, right? Let's talk about the problem forever, but it's about the solution.
There was a man that came on C-SPAN, right? And he made a great statement about what he said. The only solution I see. Yeah, he was a professor, right?
Yeah, North Carolina University.
A professor of African American Studies. And he said the only solution I see is the extermination of the white race.
Yeah.
That's the only solution you see. And I mean,
when you say extermination, you mean from power or?
I'm talking about exterminate the race.
Genocide.
Genocide of the race. Because we see what happens when you leave white people. When you leave them unsupervised. What happens? They do wickedness, man.
What about just taking them out of power? Genocide seems kind of extreme to me. That's not just being from like.
I feel you.
Because that means that you guys are going to kill me, right? I mean, I don't want to die.
The initial plan of action is the taking out of power, the dethroning of the white race.
Yeah.
Then the enslavement of the white race, which will lead to the extermination of the white race. Because to be quite frank, even if we didn't exterminate you, over the course of time, the white race will be exterminated. You see what I'm saying? It's only natural selection. You know what I'm saying? The white race will
what about just like interracial marriages and stuff like that until
we can't do it because the whole thing is this. Peace is out the damn window.
Yeah.
Y'all fuck peace up. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? At least you know, but you got these other white that say you fucking, we don't even care, we're on top right now, it's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
What would you do though with like the human mind, regardless? I mean, race has been a huge distinguisher between people for thousands of generations. But it's not the only distinguisher.
Of course.
Because you're also going to get people to find any sort of difference based on where you're from, religion, all that type of stuff. So if you eliminate race, then you still have the thing of this in mind of a group of people putting themselves up above another group of people.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So what do you do with that human element?
Now here's what you do with that human element. Number one, what you have to do is there's going to be a new rulership that takes over the planet of the story of the Bible. And that new rulership on a new world called Christ is going to rule with a rod of iron, right? Now, if you got a rod of iron, you you ain't being nice. If somebody goes against what you got going on, goes against the program, they get their head cracked, man, straight like that. And it's gonna really initially the new government that's gonna be set up on the planet Earth is going to be forced upon people. You know what I'm saying? But it's only gonna be forced upon you for the better. This is the thing. When the so-called white race came and they forced their ways upon everybody, everything was negative about their ways.
When do you think that happened? Maybe with like the Romans, right? The Romans kind of fucked everything up.
Well, it was the Romans.
Or the Greeks.
Yeah,
who was
start with
first?
Alexander. Alexander was the first. That's why they call him the Great, because he was the first great cracker that ever walked the earth. Before that, the history was real bad. Then here you got Alexander, right? Alexander the Teamanite, right?
You know that manifest, that's the roots of that manifest destiny.
The first fruits of manifest destiny, right? You had the Greeks, then here come the Romans, but there was a period of time when the Romans fell. The Roman Empire didn't fall, but white people ruling Rome stopped, and I'll say about 193 AD, right? You had a Roman emperor by the name of Septimius Severus, right? You ever heard that name before? Well, look him up.
Roman history is, what was it?
Septimius Severus, meaning the cutter of seven. That's what his name meant, right? Now, Septimius Severus was a black emperor. From that point until, I would say, until 1492, and even a little bit after that, but from that point fluid, you have black rulers of Europe. And this is, you can go, there's a book, it's called Russian Icons. You should Google it. It's $1,000 to get the book right now, hard copy. But you can Google it and you can take a look at the image. It's called Russian Icons. In this book, Russian Icons, you see all these places in Europe and all these the nobility in Europe. You see black people. I'm talking about jet black. Undeniably, that's a black person.
What year?
This is
Before the Christian.
Christianity, Catholicism was started by black people. Constantine, if you take a look, I got the images of the Nicene Council, right? Yeah. Where Catholicism was created, where they merged the Roman pagan religion with the Bible, right? That, when you take a look at the original painting of that, and every head in that damn painting is black. Every head in that painting got an afro on it. You know what I'm saying? So we started all of that. But then through the Catholic Church, the so-called white man re-infiltrated and got Europe back, right? Through a man by the name of Alexander Bogier, he was Pope, no, not Alexander Bogier, Rodrigo Bogier, but he was Pope Alexander VI of Rome, right? You know the picture that everybody regards as Jesus, that white dude? That's his son Caesar Borgia. He had Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo come and paint his son, okay, as Christ. And then they went all, matter of fact, give me Wisdom of Solomon 14. And they went all over the earth and said, this is Jesus, bow down to him. And it was prophesied in the Bible that they was going to do it, okay? Which is the reason why some people criticize people who are Bible believers. But this book got prophecies in it that we could observe have happened. Therefore, if it told us the future before it happened, it might could tell us what's getting ready to happen. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's logical.
What do you guys? Are you guys part of a?
Yeah, we the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, that is our national. We're the real Jews. Those people that are over there bombing the shit out of Gaza right now, they're not the real Jews. Right? The president of Egypt, right now, you know what? The Middle East is always in uproar, right? It has been ever since the Jews went back over there in 1949. 48, right? Yeah. And the president of Egypt, he made the statement. They said, "Will there ever be peace in the Middle East?" He said, "No, because the Jews left black and they came back white, because they know that those are not the real Jews over there. So they're going to be fighting with it. If the real Jews went over there, they would stop fighting because they know who belongs to it."
What do you got here? What's the 12? I see that you got some words, and then these are different current nations.
Yes, these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and these are our ancient biblical identities. These are what we're known as today. How did we come to this conclusion? Through diligent study of biblical prophecy and history. This is how we came to the conclusion that Judah is the African American and Issachar is the Mexican, so on and so forth. You know, through studying the scriptures, you find these things out and it becomes apparently evident.
But I mean, like, all of these places are homogeneous, you know, like Argentina, they've got indigenous people and this is why I'm glad you said it. Yeah, see, when it say Argentina, it don't mean every Argentina. Like you said, you got straight Italian Argentina. It's about the indigenous and the Negroid populations of these areas. The people who were already there
prior to colonialization, enslaved that might have been brought there. Those are the people in which who are the tribe. Yeah, exactly. Because some of these people, a lot of Latinos and Native Americans were put in chains and sent over to Europe to serve slavery. That's a little known fact that people don't know about.
What would you guys say about? I mean, because like we have race is such a social construct, you know. Whereas like
it's called white supremacy.
North America isn't black in Latin America, isn't black in Africa. Like
exactly. You're right. It's a social construct.
What do you say for like? So then that kind of confuses what you guys were saying earlier about the elimination of the white race. What is the white race?
I'm gonna tell you what the white race is, because we're gonna deal with it with brass tacks, right? According to the Bible, there's 18 nations on the planet Earth. 18, right? It ain't. We know there's millions of nations. It's only 18 men who people's line goes back to. People's seed go back to. It's all about your patrilineage. If your patrilineage goes back to a man by the name of Esau, then you're an Edomite, you're a so-called white person. And that's who has to be exterminated. People who patrilineally are related to Esau.
And how do you know that? How do you find that out?
Well, what we have to deal with generalizations, right? Because I can't confirm 100% that every single person that looks like a Caucasian, in fact, patrilineally goes back to Edom.
And
but
even
in general,
somebody
they
who looks
do.
like, according to the American idea, somebody who looks like a black person, you don't know.
Somebody who's a black person, great-grandfather could be a straight-up white dude who raped his grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These things happen. So everybody who looked black ain't necessarily black, and everybody who looked white ain't necessarily white. You got people who look white, pale as hell, that are black.
Isn't that discriminate people based off of these things when we don't really know?
Well, here's the thing. Listen, when we deal with generalizations for starters. Now, matter of fact, give me Romans. Somebody give me Romans 8:16.
Read that real quick. What I was going to say to him is this. It's all about these people on the
Yeah. Okay. I got a Mexican jersey, but that doesn't count me in.
It's all about the people on this time, correct?
Yeah.
Romans 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit.
Right, the Spirit itself, the Holy Spirit bears witness with our spirits, right? Read.
That we are the children of the Most High.
That we are the children of God. Now, the children of God are the Israelites. So people's spirit are going to bear witness if they're Israelites. Like if you believe what we said right now, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, shit, I don't know. This dude's a white dude, whatever. I don't mess with him. But you believed in it so much that you came out here every week, and then you believed in it so much that you was on the corner teaching the same thing. Well, then I really couldn't deny you at that point, because your spirit is now bearing witness to the fact that you are an Israelite, because you believe so much in it so firmly. If you weren't an Israelite, you wouldn't believe in it this much, because it doesn't profit you anything to believe in it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where it's a spiritual thing. Because again, we deal with generalizations, but then when individuals start to come in, we have to deal with case sensitive. You understand what I'm saying? So it also we have to have a balance. It's not just a flesh and blood thing; it is also a spiritual thing. But it's balance. It's a balance of flesh and blood and spirituality coming together and attesting to the fact that you are, in fact, an Israelite or an Edomite or whatever other nation on the in the scripture.
Well, we deal with perfect balance around here. There would be absolutely no way for us to sit up and say, on the fact that our lineage goes back to the great black or Hispanic king in Israel. There is no record for us to show you that. So, as a correct balance, whether it's up, down, left, right, we have to have a carnal side of it. I mean, clearly, you would look at us and say, can tell that we're black men. That can kind of, is a first step or the foundation of it. And then on the other side, is that we get it. Because like I said, you can even see black people that won't get it, or you can see Hispanics that won't get it.
Yeah. But then we come back to that construct of race, whereas in America there's what's black, and then you go to Africa and black's a totally different concept. Where you have any.
It is. We dealing with concepts. We dealing with people's thought processes, and we're dealing with socio ideology. You know what I'm saying? Some people have different belief systems. You know what I'm saying, on different things.
So what's your guys' ideal
the African
lifestyle?
The Africans are
What's like a good way to live?
Like you said,
Day-to-day living.
A good way to live is as the scriptures say, the laws of God. You ever heard of the books of Moses? The 5 books of Moses.
In religion, I got that.
That's not right. Moses, right? The Lord gave Moses the first 5 books of the Bible, right? called the Torah, the laws, statutes, and commandments. It would be to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments that God gave to Moses to give to the children of Israel. That's a righteous lifestyle. It is the most perfect system on the planet Earth. There's no more system or no better way to govern yourself than by the Torah on the earth. You know what I'm saying? So living according to the Torah would be an ideal righteous lifestyle. You know, the thing is, oh, go ahead, yeah. Because you got, it's broken up into 4 sections, right? Dietary, ceremonial. The ceremonial we ain't got to worry about too much. Moral and civic, right? Those are the type of laws that we broken up into. So follow the moral laws, the dietary laws, and the civic laws, and that's living the righteous lifestyle. The problem with the so-called white man is he puts things on the book according to his laws that make it impossible to follow a righteous lifestyle, right? Like this, you see what they got all downtown? They got rainbow flags all downtown. That is the exact opposite of the righteous lifestyle.
That's what I'm going to have to disagree with you guys. I think that's...
Now here's the thing. Yeah, why? State your cause. Justify yourself.
Well, the principle that if you have 2 people who are doing something out of love and compassion and hurting nobody else in that action, that's a beautiful thing.
Nah, but listen, they're hurting everybody else.
They are.
I'm gonna tell you why they hurt everybody. You are hurting the human race because you are doing something that cannot produce a child, that cannot produce an offspring. And the whole point of life is to create more life. You're supposed to create more life. That's a part of life.
Yeah, but
Species
like,
die
at
off.
this point, we're like an invasive species, and we're destroying the planet. There's so many people.
No. The white man is doing that. That's what I'm saying. This is why the white man legalized homosexuality. You go over to Africa, they're refusing aid because America's saying, listen, we'll give you guys aid, but you have to legalize homosexuality. They said, hell no. You know what? Fuck it, we'll starve. Because that shit is a cancer. That is a cancer to a society.
Homosexuality is beautiful.
No, it's not. Hell no.
That's the thing. This is the thing. It's like when you move into a neighborhood and you own this house. This is your house. But there's certain shit you can't do to your lawn or do to the house because why? It's gonna bring the property value down in the neighborhood and shit like that. It's fucking with things. You see what I'm saying? It's not conducive.
The natural order of business.
Exactly. It's not conducive to the progression of life.
Look at STDs for heterosexual versus homosexuals. Homosexuals have higher STD rates.
You know why? Because it's a perversion. I'm about to say it's permitted. All it is, the majority of it's all about hookups. I just want to hook up. Hook up this.
First off, you can go to that damn park over here on the way to Hillcrest, and they got glory holes and shit like that over there, man. You know what I'm saying? Homosexuality is a sick abomination.
There's in the heterosexual hookup community, there's...
Okay, and I'm not saying that that's right neither. I'm not saying that that's right neither.
I said that they have a perverse spirit, that they're not even really, just looking to say, oh, I'm going to go and join with this person because I have love and compassion and want to live life.
There's that exists.
I didn't say that there wasn't. I'm saying the majority of it all is just straight deviance. It's just strictly deviance.
Matter of fact, you got to live this 2013.
Well, how does that hurt you guys? How does homosexuality
I'm gonna tell you why.
hurt
It's going against the Bible. It hurts us because, like I said, the Torah is a perfect system. If you want to have a thriving society, you would follow the Torah. A thriving society does not have homosexuals in it because that prevents a society from thriving.
Any other species, and essentially humans are animals too. There's
Humans are
homosexual behavior in every species.
Prove that. You gotta prove that. You gotta prove to me that these people that are these animals that are engaging in homosexual activity have not been tampered with in any way by modern science.
They pump them with estrogen to calm them down so they can talk to them and do all them things with them.
Since the beginning of time, there's people who have been gay in every single race.
I mean, listen, I'm not denying that, but that's a problem.
Naturally.
That's a problem.
And they're not causing any harm to anybody else.
That's unnatural. That's
they're
unnatural.
not causing any harm to anybody else.
But that's unnatural.
So
natural is a penis entering a vagina. That's natural. Anything outside of that, that's unnatural.
It can be natural.
Because anything that you cannot produce life from is unnatural. That's unnatural. You can't. If I can't get a life form out of this, what is the point?
You wear a condom?
No, hell no. Why would I wear a condom for? Why would I wear a rubber for? What will I have to do that? I'm not scared of having children.
It's not the time of the cycle.
Huh?
I've been a bareback bandit since the day I got into this game.
You said what?
The Bible says you don't lay with your woman while she's on her moon. Up until 1980, it was listed from the government as a mental disease.
Yeah, that's right. And it
Unfortunately.
is. It is a mental disease.
Yep.
It is a mental
They
disease.
changed it because the
It is.
science got current.
No, the
No,
science
but
isn't
they know
correct.
they
That's
can
not
make money
science.
off of it.
First off, that's not science. Show me the science that proves that homosexuality is
There is
natural.
no gay gene.
There's no
You
gay
cannot
gene.
try to say
That's
there's
been
a fucking gay
disproven.
gene.
So if there ain't no gay gene, then that's a
They haven't
disorder.
found the heterosexual gene either. They haven't found that
because
gene
it's
that
natural.
chooses sexuality.
That's natural.
You know,
It's
yeah.
natural. It's you. Real quick. Can you put when you put your batteries in your remote, right? One goes one way, one goes the other way, right?
Yeah.
If you put them in the wrong way, what's gonna happen? It ain't gonna work. That's unnatural for that remote.
Right. If you have an
Zoom
extension
out.
cord, if you have an extension cord, and you put the the one without the prong and try to stick that into the wall, is it?
So you guys,
It's
the
not
main
even gonna stay
problem
there.
with homosexuality is just shapes. You like the geometry of certain shapes that fit with each other.
Shape. This is the world we live in. We live in a world with shapes. When you walk into the bathroom, it says men and it's a triangle, and it says women and it's a circle. We live in a world that worships feminine and masculine principles in
Because humans
nature,
decided
and it
to
shows
do
that
that.
simple. It
It's
shows
totally
that
arbitrary.
shit.
Explain to me this. Explain it. I'm gonna show you the hypocrisy in homosexuality anyway. I'm gonna show you the hypocrisy in homosexuality anyway. Why does a woman want to get with another woman that acts and does the exact same things that a man does and looks the same way as a man?
Human sexuality is a very complex, crazy thing.
No, it's not.
And there's a
No,
whole
it's not.
spectrum.
It's not.
There's from the completely heterosexual to the completely homosexual and everything in between.
Who told you that?
That's
He's gay.
science, that's behavior,
No,
that's when
science.
you observe
Listen,
human
it's behavior.
behavior.
It's behavior. Behavior.
Human behavior was natural.
Okay.
Natural
No, it's
human
not. It's not
behavior.
natural. Natural
Completely
human
natural.
behavior is normal human behavior, and
defines
homosexuality
normal?
is not the norm. What the normal is what the masses are doing. If the masses of people are heterosexual, then homosexuality is not natural.
So you meaning to tell me that? Okay, let's go back to the beginning of time. Like you said, it's always been homosexuals, but you said the masses. So you mean to tell me at the beginning of time, it was just somebody that was just like, okay, guys,
Like the beginning
listen,
of humans at the beginning of time.
humans. Duh, that's
Okay.
what we're speaking on. I mean,
Oh yeah, I
heterosexual-
forgot. The Bible is 2000. Yeah.
The Bible is not 2,000 years old.
Okay, I'm confused then.
But the thing is this: was it somebody around that just said, okay, guys, boys, you deal with girls. Girls, you deal with boys, and this is gonna be the way it is. And they was just brainwashing them the whole time. And then there was just one person that said, I want to be bad, so I don't want to deal with them. You know what I mean? It was a natural thing
Oh, man, it's
to
just,
produce life, man. If everybody would, if there was as many homosexuals back in the day as it is now, it'd be the population would be shit.
None.
Damn near a fourth of what it
at
is
the
now.
creation of the Roman Catholic Empire, there were thousands of homosexual men and women.
At the beginning of what?
The Roman Empire.
At the beginning of what?
Even before that, the Greeks,
At the beginning of what? The Roman
the
Empire?
Romans,
Who
the
was the
Greeks,
Romans?
everybody.
You just keep
Yeah, the
naming
Romans, the
white
Greeks,
people.
white people.
You just keep naming white people, man.
Black gay people.
In
Listen,
Africa,
Africa's
You trying to tell me there's Africans who ain't gay?
there is Africans that are gay. We're not Africans.
It
We're
is
not
natural.
We're not claiming to be
No,
Africans.
it's not natural. It's not natural. That's unnatural. That is a cancerous. Listen, what did God?
It's not normal, but it's natural.
What did God command?
Normal in
What
the
did God
sense-
command Adam and Eve to do? You should know this at least.
He didn't read.
Didn't read the Bible.
Everybody
didn't.
knows this.
You guys can teach
He
me about
said
the Bible
this.
for sure, but
Be fruitful and multiply.
AIDS, that originated from people doing. They don't know exactly, but there's good evidence that it was people
Been in the lab.
tampering with monkeys to get. Yeah,
They created that.
they created.
But who created it?
A monkey.
White people created it.
Okay.
I'm not arguing that white people have
Wait. They said tampering. They said
We're talking about
tampering.
homosexuality.
They said tampering with monkeys, right? What you mean? What does it mean by tampering? They was fucking monkeys?
No.
No, you're talking about scientific.
No, I'm saying
They were trying to get
fucking
the.
monkeys.
Well, they haven't.
It's a
proven
sexually
it.
transmitted
No, they
disease.
weren't
How does
trying
somebody
to.
get bit in?
They
The
may,
STDs is
no, they may have
somebody
been
with
trying
AIDS
to
can't
cure
bite you in the
polio with apes. Although another thing too, where it could have
Okay,
come
with
from,
apes, right? Now
is just killing monkeys to eat them in Africa, and the blood. Of course, when you hunt, you get cut, stuff like that. They don't know exactly. There's no proof of where
That's all
apes
when the
came
blood hits the
from.
air, the virus
There's-
is killed.
There's all different kinds of
Listen,
theories, but it
listen.
definitely didn't come from two gay guys having sex.
Listen,
That's not where it
here-
came from.
Now, I'm gonna tell you right now. We got to deal with something. The most effective way to live a life is through observational science. the most primitive and original form of science.
Observational science.
Observational science, right? I'm glad you mentioned apes, trying to cure polio with apes. How a human can figure out a lot of ways to increase his health is through observing apes, right? This is what Bushmen in Africa do. They follow apes around the jungle, and they see what apes do when they have any type of issue, if they have indigestional issues, what they eat. If they have a protein deficiency, what they eat, right? Now, when you observe apes, you also observe something about apes. They're not gay either. And they're very into family. They're very family oriented. They're very into their wife and their children. That's how apes run their life. Now, you in the science, are we biologically similar to apes?
You got the whole spectrum of behavior in apes. There's infanticide in ape behavior where the mothers are actually eating babies.
There's infanticide in humans.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
How
So
can
similar.
can homosexuals make families?
Yeah.
How?
They can make families. They adopt a beautiful kid.
That's-
They raise them.
Adopting's not making.
They have to adopt.
Yeah.
So
What's
now-
wrong with adoption?
So
You
now
got a
that
kid who's
listen,
grown to
so this is the thing.
who's born with no parents,
Listen,
and
how
then
would
you
they
got
do
a
that?
completely mentally, emotionally stable two parents. who can
Mentally
take
stable?
them.
Emotionally stable? They're
Yeah.
homosexuals, for Christ's sake.
How are
they stable?
Before adoption agencies and all these things were around, how were they establishing families? How were they establishing
There's no
families?
ways to establish.
They were hooking up.
They was just hooking up.
Being gay.
How did Greeks and Romans establish families?
The Greeks, yeah. Well,
They
it's
were
families,
pagans.
man. What do you
Greeks and
want?
Romans.
You could have a family with two heterosexual couples that give offspring. But let's say the parents beat the kid, the drug addicts.
I understand where you're going. I understand where you're going. I understand where
That's
you're
not
going.
solid.
Oh wait. So
Then you
me
could have a
being a
family.
heterosexual person, that makes me better than a faggot because I don't need. Listen.
That's a rough word,
Listen,
man.
listen,
That's
listen,
hate.
listen,
That's
listen.
hate.
It is
I hate
hate. It is hate. I get you. What I'm saying is, it makes me better because I don't need someone else to establish a family. If two heterosexual, yeah, you're right. They gotta go down.
I'm superior to that person.
First of all, what they have to do is
Bullshit.
wait. You need a faggot needs somebody else. I don't need him. I don't need him. I'm better than you. I can go and get my.
I can make as many babies as I want.
And guess what?
better.
And guess what?
Because I can
guess
do
what?
it well.
I don't have to go to no counseling. Don't nobody have to come and watch my lifestyle. I don't have to sit up here and let somebody all into my head
My-
try to prove anything to them
Millions
to
of gay
get
people
one
don't
baby.
get counseling.
No, to adopt
Then
a child.
people having
What's
problems.
the process to adopt a child?
Maybe it'd be a lot easier for them.
What's the process to adopt a child?
Why would I
You
want to
can't
make
just
it
walk in
easier
somewhere
for
and buy
them?
a baby.
Why do I
Because
want to
they're
make it
beautiful.
easier? No, they're not. There's nothing
Beautiful.
beautiful. They're abominable.
So can we just ask a question? Are you gay?
Yeah, we was going to get to it. Of course, I mean, I would honestly
Hey.
say he is.
He's a Macklemore, man. He's a Macklemore type dude. You a damn gay ambassador, right?
You gay.
I'm gay ambassador.
Right. He's not.
I'm part of the
straight.
alliance.
You're straight, but you're a gay ambassador, right?
That's right.
Now look.
I beg to differ.
Now look.
Okay.
The whole thing is this.
That's fine. I got no problems. I got no homophobia.
Now the whole thing. But
I'm not scared of it.
Yeah, I don't have.
I'm not scared of him at all.
Phobia means you're scared. Phobia means you're scared, man. I ain't scared. I have.
You're scared of being called a homo. That's homophobic.
I'm not a homo.
Tendencies to be called
Yeah,
that.
what's gay about me? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? We're but is there masculine homosexuals?
So if
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
no fear about it, why the hatred? They say all
No.
anger comes from fear. Why do you hate
Oh,
someone?
hey, listen, who said? Listen, hold on, bro. Who said all hatred comes from fear?
All anger. It's like the base.
That comes from fear?
Fear is the base
No, it's
emotion.
not. No, it's not. How is fear that? I hate white people. Why do I hate
Anger
white
wants to
people?
control.
Not because I'm afraid of white people, but because of what they do. That makes me
I
hate
can
them.
see that,
You
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
That
So
makes
I'm
sense.
not afraid of them. So hatred doesn't come from fear. That's something somebody said to try to rationalize their psychotic ideas.
If a man goes and fucks on a little boy that's not homosexual,
That's pedophilia.
Okay, but it's still homosexual.
It's
though.
man on man.
homo.
The bad thing
Homo.
is pedophilia.
Sex rapes a 15-year, or goes and have sex with a 15-year-old boy.
That's horrible.
That's pedophilia,
Pedophilia.
but not homosexuality.
But a 15
Well, the part that's wrong is
a 15-year-old is not a pedo though. A
Thank you.
15-year-old is not a child.
That's a man. That is a man.
Hey,
Hold on.
homosexuality, right or wrong?
Wrong.
Wrong. There we go. At least
Why?
you know.
Wait, why?
Because it's perverted.
Hey,
Right,
right.
it's perverted.
And what makes it perverted?
It is profane.
Are you gay? Well then.
Exactly.
What do you mean then? It's unnatural. It's unnatural.
That's right. What's natural? It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, right?
Yeah, right on, man. Right on. It's not natural at all.
Homosexuality is completely natural.
Bullshit.
Every species.
Are you gay?
No?
What the fuck are you protecting them?
I love people.
Hey,
I love people. I live in love.
my lawyer, definitely send him to that guy.
What's love?
Yeah,
Find love.
Yeah,
Love
what
is
is
caring for another person more than you care for yourself.
You said what?
Love is caring for another person or other people more than you care for yourself.
That's your definition of love?
It's one of the definitions. One of my
Yeah,
definitions.
but it's
of love.
unnatural.
One of
God
his
doesn't want
definitions.
that.
Yeah, that's
Are you
right.
believe in God or what?
What do you want, God?
You believe in God or not? Or you
I believe in God.
God doesn't like that.
That's right.
He's fine with it. I
No,
talk.
I doubt it.
Oh, see, look, he's another guy that talks about
Look.
God, right?
The human observation
Yeah, that's right, human observation.
and knowledge coming out of human observation.
Everything comes from human observation. Well, not just human, just observation. Observation alone. Everything comes. You gotta look. If you look at two homos, hey, that's wrong. I can see that.
Where's
Hey,
that?
what about Sodom and Gomorrah? They condemned that, man. God condemned it.
And that's a historical fact that was
fact.
actually a
God
city that
condemned
existed
it.
that was destroyed.
That's right.
Pompeii.
God
Yeah,
destroyed
well, yeah, what
it.
about Pompeii? You seen the movie about Pompeii?
Yeah.
Mount Vesuvius erupted.
Hollywood.
They were homos, bro. That's a historical fact.
No
when
shit.
when they took all the ash up, they
'Cause
saw
there's
all
always
that
been
decay and
homos.
Exactly.
He
And
is beautiful.
And they always been
What the fuck
judged
you
for their
protecting
acts.
for? You know,
They've always been
I don't
killed.
get you. I don't understand you.
Why not?
Philosophy. I don't get it. Where do you come from?
Hey, real quick, what's your
Modern
nationality?
society.
Hungarian.
Hungarian? Okay. Hungry, man.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. You might be a
Modern society
They
based
call it
on love.
Magyar.
Yeah.
Where you from?
We from Israel originally. The
Really?
Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are originally from Israel. From the Middle East.
Better watch out,
And
you're not
certain-
on this list.
And certain people
Yeah,
speak about
that's crazy. He's perverted.
That's right.
That's fucking unreal what he said.
Hey, but look, matter of fact, get Hebrews 12 and 16 again. Get Hebrews 12 and 16 because what did the scripture say? It said Esau, meaning the progenitor of his damn race, right? There is no profane fornicator worse than this person.
Yeah.
Now, profane, the word profane means outside of the temple. If you're a faggot, you outside of the temple.
Exactly.
The word fornication is
You know
used
what
as
else is
unlawful
wrong?
sex.
That fucking guy's a faggot.
He's on Babylon.
He's probably a faggot, I bet you. He gotta be up.
But he's out here trying to save,
Hey,
you know.
he said he's not, but I bet you he is.
But see, that's the thing though, bro. I mean, how do you sit up here and just, that's like me sitting there saying like, man, hey man, I love thieves. I just love them. I'm not one, but I
just love people who steal.
I love
crazy,
them. I
yeah.
love watching you guys.
That's crazy, motherfucker.
No, I mean,
He's probably a
you have
faggot,
that
I bet
still in your
Yeah,
lust.
gotta
man.
be.
On the car, he got touched when he was a little
I
boy.
bet
or
you
something,
he is, man. Why would he lie? Why would he lie saying he's not? He's a liar.
Yeah, they just be
Why are
the
you
average.
going- Yeah, why are you sitting there fighting for him so
He's a
hard?
liar, man.
Talking about his beauty, he said it's beautiful. How sick can you
He's a
be?
fucking fag, I bet you. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I bet too.
100%.
I bet too.
Yeah, he is. He's gotta be up.
Hebrews 12 verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Yes, there is nobody more profane or a bigger fornicator than Esau. Now, again, profanity means outside of the temple. Faggotry is outside of the temple. A fornicator has to do with any unlawful sex act, which homosexuality is. So there's no person who is a bigger fornicator or further outside the temple than the so-called white man.
For one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
That's right, he sold his birthright for one morsel of meat, right? Because we got over on him. Because the so-called white man is a goddamn fool and an idiot, man.
That's right.
Leviticus chapter 20 verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed abominations.
That's right.
They shall surely be put to death.
That's right. All faggots and all lesbians
Their blood shall be upon them.
That's right, shall surely be put to death, and they shall be held accountable for it. They're not going to be put to death because of somebody else. They're going to be put to death because of their goddamn self.
That's right.
Amen.
And the crackers, and whoever put up these damn
Look how they start their kids off too.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how much the city pays you to hang these goddamn rainbows. y'all gonna die too.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm about to get that, man. Yeah, Leviticus 20 and 13 goes for whoever's advocating for this shit
And
too,
this
man.
punk ass black hole with Esau across the street, she gonna die too, man. Yeah, man.
This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
That's right. We have been made watchmen through the house of Israel through the spirit of power. Yahweh shall read.
Therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning for me.
That's right.
Verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die.
Thou shalt surely die. When you say to the wicked, thou shalt surely die. When you say to the faggot, thou shalt surely die. When you say to the lesbian, thou shalt surely die. Read.
And thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity.
That's right. No matter what this faggot is, they gonna die in their iniquity, right, Reed?
But his blood will I require at thine hand.
But if we didn't tell him that it was wrong, we would have to answer for that blood.
That's right.
But that's why we out here, we piping and let these motherfuckers know that it's wrong.
That's right.
It's the most wrong thing you can do. One of them.
That's right, man. When you ain't giving these people warning, man, and you advocating and encouraging this, you know what I'm saying? That's when the Lord's not dealing with you. That's right. That's when the Lord gonna kill you for that. All right. That's what the scriptures say. Whoso calls it the righteous to go astray in an evil way. Okay. If you sitting there advocating and telling people that this shit is okay, and that, you know, you're doing the right thing and it's a beautiful. This dude went as far as to say it was a beautiful thing to be a homosexual.
I ain't never heard him say that, man. That was a little far.
It's a beautiful thing. But see, that's why that's the main thing that's perverting people out here is this love factor. Oh, well, you know, loving someone or caring for someone more than you care about yourself. That sounds like stupidity. That sounds like stupidity.
No.
Come on now.
That's worshiping the creature, like we talked about earlier. But like the brother said, the guy that was on camp, he said everything that we've been talking about at camp, this one dude had came and presented it. He was loving the creature more than the creator. He wanted to accept faggots. He wanted to try to say that something straight that is clearly crooked.
That's right. That's right. That's right. He's trying to make that. Hey, that's exactly right, man. He tried to make what was crooked straight up to say that it was beautiful. There was a beauty in his crookedness.
This truth is beautiful. That's
right.
This is beautiful. The brothers doing the work. These scriptures, that's beautiful. And these beautiful scriptures tell us what? That being a faggot is wicked, man. It's hideous.
Not one time did he identify with what we were saying and the things that we was, you know, bringing out or making our people aware of. He didn't call that beautiful. You see what I'm saying? We're out here letting our people, and he agreed with it. He says, yeah, hey, man, hey, not only were they, you know, doing wickedness beforehand, they still are. Hey,
to this day.
He agreed that the devil, and one of the agendas of the devil is this faggot shit.
That's right.
Yep.
That's part of it. That's part of your race's iniquity.
The softness
of the homosexual vibration.
Yep.
Hey,
wicked, evil vibration.
If it was so beautiful, they wouldn't be, you know, going so hard to try to, you know, justify and put regulations out to make it legal.
Yeah, to protect
to protect them.
They wouldn't be doing that if it was such a beautiful thing, because the so-called white man is absent of beauty.
That's right. He is totally absent.
He is absent of beauty.
That's right. First off, us as a nation, we a beautiful nation.
That's right.
Okay? The rest of y'all, fuck y'all, man.
That's right.
Straight like that.
That's right.
You know, y'all just get ready for slavery, man. Straight up, hardcore bondage.
Daniel 7:1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and made a sum of the matter.
So the Lord gave, through the Spirit, gave Daniel a dream, right? And then he wrote the dream. The dream is key prophecy in the global scope, right, Reed?
Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens drove upon the great sea.
Go ahead.
It says, and four great beasts came up from the sea.
All right, talking about four beasts, right, Reed?
It says diverse, one from another.
There were four different beasts. These four beasts represent four different kingdoms that would have supreme dominion over the earth. Reed.
The first was like a lion. It had eagle's wings.
Right, the lion with eagle's wings is the griffin, right? Used by the Assyrians and the Babylonians, right? Go ahead. The Assyrians had it on all fours. The Babylonians had it standing upright, right? Go ahead.
Harry Potter, that's the sign.
Yeah, Griffin. Yeah.
It says, I beheld.
We say the English use it. Well, really, the Jake. When we was in England, we were using the griffin. We were using the griffin for symbology sometimes. But then you see Esau use the griffin in place of the phoenix as well. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's really the Egyptian version of the griffin is the phoenix. But now we see it just straight up as an eagle, but really you can say the eagle is really a phoenix. You know what I'm saying? But the Babylonians had it that it was a griffin because of the attributes of lions being the kings of the jungle and eagles being the kings of the fowls of the heaven. And putting them two things together, the swiftness of the eagle and the power and the strength of the lion, because that's the type of kingdom that the Babylonians had. As it's going to go on to say that even though that there was empires and nations and kingdoms that took down the Babylonians and then rose up, so on and so forth, the Most High says that there's not going to be a kingdom. Not going to be a kingdom like the Babylonian. And the Most High going to say that these other kingdoms that's getting ready to come after you, Nebuchadnezzar, I think he says in Daniel, the other kingdoms that get ready to come, they're not going to be as strong as you. All these kingdoms that rose up after the Babylonian Empire, but none of them can hold a candle to the Babylonian Empire. Even this new Babylon, this fucking kingdom is a piece of shit. Okay? Babylon was fortified, man. It was hard as hell to siege Babylon. This is, as the scripture says, a land of unwalled villages. They ain't gonna send so many goddamn missiles over here, man. Where we at?
Architecture and all that.
Yeah, this shit is, look at this shit. It's falling apart. They got cracked in the goddamn concrete. This place is a piece of shit, man. Okay? So the kingdoms after the Babylonian only got progressively worse, right? Piece of shit kingdoms, right? But go ahead.
Daniel, we're at Daniel 7:4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld, till the wings therefore were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
That's right, because again, as the Assyrian, it was on all fours, but as the Babylonian, it stood up as a man. Read.
Verse 5, and behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and
like
raised
to
it
a
up.
bear, right? This is that other beast, right, Reed?
It says, and raised up itself on one side.
Raised up itself on one side. This is dealing with the Medo-Persian Empire. And it raised itself on one side because the Persian side of the empire was more powerful and more dominant than the Medes, right? So it's the bear that raised itself on one side. Go ahead.
And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
Devour much flesh, and it came and it conquered the Babylonian Empire. Right, read.
Verse 6, after this I beheld, and lo, unto another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
That's right. The leopard. The leopard represents the Greek Empire, headed by who? Alexander. Because Alexander used to go into battles with leopard skin on. And the 4 wings represent after Alexander's death, he split the kingdom into 4 parts, which you can read about in the book of the Maccabees. Read.
The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Verse 7, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible.
4th beast. This 4th beast is a dreadful and terrible beast, right, Reed?
And strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured, it says, it devoured and brake in pieces, and stampled the residue with the feet of it.
That's right. This is talking about that Roman Empire that rose up. As time goes on, these kingdoms get progressively more ferocious. The Romans and the Greeks weren't necessarily as powerful as the Babylonians or the Medo-Persians, but they were more ferocious. They were more ruthless. This so-called white man just don't give a fuck, man. The spirit that's in him is just so contrary. He just want to devour everybody, man. Because he's the devil. Because the white man is the goddamn devil.
That's right.
The Bible speaks of. Go ahead.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
And it had the 10 horns, right? Now the 10 horns represent the 10 European common markets. This is dealing with basically the Roman Empire. Now the Roman Empire came in parts. We have to understand that the Roman Empire came in parts. That it rose in the time of what is it? BC. It rose, I forget what the year was. I would say 100 something BC. And then it fell for a time under during the Dark Ages when we was running. Then they rose back into power in the late 1400s, going into the 1500s. And then they began to establish things. They began to establish countries and things like that to form a unity. Now, 10 of those countries represent the common market that their economical structure is based on. And those are the 10 horns.